Okay, I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. If we'd all rise and please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Noting the roll, please.
Noted there is a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. I would like to move to amend tonight's agenda by removing items 10A and 11H.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, what's, when you come up to 11H, what is that about?
11H was a scheduling of the first reading of the watercraft ordinance.
Ties back to
It's all tied back to 10A.
Okay.
All right, hearing no other questions, roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item number 5.
Supervisor Curtis, I also like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Oh,
Did I?
can we do redos on those?
Can we do a dual
Well, he's
amendment?
doing, yeah, he can make.
Sure.
Make another
What would you
motion.
like to amend?
So to amend section 11J to add a third item, and that is repayment of the loan request to the building permit fund.
Okay, so it'd be item 11J, 3 I's.
Yes. Plus
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Wagner, a second by treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions?
Quick question, would you just give us the title of what you're asking me to put on there?
again,
Yes.
repayment of the loan request to building permit fund.
Gotcha.
Hearing no other questions, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Any more amendments? Okay, thank you. Item number 5, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by treasurer Ferrari and a second by trustee Charles. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, no. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. This is for members of the public to come up to the microphone and speak if you have a topic that's not on the agenda. Step right up to the mic, please.
My name is Darren Hafley.
Pull the mic down so we can hear you, please.
My name is Darren Hafley. I represent American Legion and the VFW right now. I am proposing right now to you guys to start the Purple Heart city or township, if you will. I'm asking you guys to allow me to go forward with that.
Okay. Darren, I'm gonna answer that in trustee comments, but we'll get you an answer, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that have comments on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, Board of Trustee comments. We'll start with Clerk Wright tonight.
No comments at this portion of trustee comments. Thank you.
Treasurer Ferrari,
No comment.
Trustee Colvin.
Yeah, Board, the Personnel Committee has been working really hard to identify some areas where we can improve some things. And in doing so, we've come up with somewhat of an exigent circumstance where we found an employee who is not backed up in any way, and if she fails, or if she wins the lottery and, moves to the Bahamas, We're potentially at risk of violating our agreement under the collective bargaining agreement. She's a fire department employee. So we are working very hard to come up with some creative solutions. I don't know if Chief Majestic will speak about this as well, but we're working with him to come up with some creative solutions for this. However, I just want to point out, a lot of us were at the Michigan Township Association meeting last week, and it was made very clear to me that employees of the township are actually employees of this board. This board is the one that employs those folks. It's not any one department or, you know, any one person. So it's not just the fire department, it's this board's responsibility. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that so that we move forward, we can kind of we can work together to get some things done and solve the situation before it becomes a problem. That's all.
Thank you. Trustee Wagner.
Yeah, a few comments. First and foremost, I had the privilege of attending the unveiling of a historical Ty Cobb monument at Stony Lake Park. And this was made possible by our communications and grant manager, CJ, with more to come. Big thanks to CJ and making it happen at no cost to the residents of Oxford. So thank you very much. I was also happy to be able to show my support for our local businesses at the Oxford Chamber of Commerce Community Breakfast, and I certainly strongly encourage local buying and supporting our local businesses whenever possible. And then finally, I had the privilege of attending this year's Michigan's Township Association Conference and Expo. There I was able to take advantage of training to help improve my skills, maybe hopefully make me a little bit better of a trustee, and also meet with several businesses that provide their services and goods to local townships. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Charles.
Sure, a couple of things. First of all, as Trustee Wagner said, the MTA conference, and Catherine as well, was really good information. And Danielle, thank you very much for the packet you put together. It made things very smooth. She prepared a packet for all of us to check in. So we just showed up and gave them the form, and it was a done deal. Really smooth. So thank you, Danielle. Downtown Development Authority, a couple of things going on there you might have known about. It's 60 East Burdick. There's a property that's being taken down. It's been there for years. A lot of people consider it undesirable. Maybe that's a nice word or not a nice word, but Ceradan Construction is taking it down. Their estimated cost, I read, is around $60,000, and the details is we've created a grant program to remove those kind of structures, which I think is really positive for the community. I think a lot of us would like to see these kind of things removed for the benefit of everybody. And kind of tagging with Trustee Coleman was saying, that the Personnel Committee, the Compensation Committee met too, and there's some overlap because Catherine's also the same committee. That's something we're going to be looking at. We had a nice, I'd say, good meeting without getting a lot of details at this point. And then thank you, Clerk Wright, for providing some additional information about the employee compensation package. And then last but not least, I see Linda Moran is here. So I'm going to pass the baton on to Linda just a little bit. Linda, could you give us a little rundown on the Oxford Aspen Youth?
Not at this time, this is trustee comments. Thank
Well,
you.
I'll just say this, we're doing a bottle drive, and Linda's been pretty active in doing that sort of thing, so I appreciate everyone that's dropping off anything at the police department there so that the group has some more money to work with.
Thank you. I have no comments at this time. Item number 8, Fire Department.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and trustees. As Trustee Coleman had mentioned, I worked with the Personnel Committee recently because of a noted flaw. We no longer have a backup to Lindsay, our business and finance manager. Our previous person is no longer able to do that as a backup. So if anything were to happen, we'd be in between a rock and a hard place. I've spoken with the Personnel Committee, and I think I have a decent plan to move forward. I just want to make sure it's okay to do that. It would involve training one of the members from here at Town Hall, and us covering the cost of those wages while they're over for training, and then obviously covering their costs if a need arises where Lindsay's out for an extended period of time or gets sick or whatever, and especially if a sick day falls on a payroll day, we'd really be in a world of hurt. I think we've I've worked very closely with Lindsay. We have developed a manual, if you will, to kind of take the person or the candidate through the step-by-step process to get them up to speed. But again, we are the largest entity of people and payroll within the township, and it's going to take some time. I would imagine it'd probably take a good, I don't know, 6 to 8 days of coming over a few hours at a time here and there to get up to speed to the point where the person can also then do it on their own when, you know, with oversight, you know, and it covers everything from our Earned Sick Time Act now, payroll, pension, the filing of our NFERS reports with the state and the federal reports, the pension filing, I think I said that already, as well as their 457 plans, and the deferred comp plans of the various employees, and everything that entails all of that on our end of things. I am actually meeting with Attorney Olin tomorrow so that we can make sure we have everything covered from a legal standpoint as far as things like family medical leave, Earned Sick Time Act, and everything that goes along with that, so that we get the person all the information we can without leaving them in a lurch if anything does happen where Lindsay's off for an extended period of time or anything like that. And I just want to make sure it's okay to move forward with that, but because it does involve tapping an employee from town hall and having them come over to the fire department to learn how to do the job and then be there as a backup when needed. Any questions or thoughts or?
No, we look forward to some sort of agreement or recognized.
Yeah, we know that we've already kind of developed a thought process, and without bringing up here, right, how we would cover the cost of the wages for the employee when they come over to us. We cover those costs and then have a differential to cover the cost when they're doing it under training and then when they're on their own to do it too. It only makes sense. You're going to ask somebody to do more work. We're going to have to kind of cover that cost and and be fair and be realistic about it. So,
Thank you.
all righty, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Board members, item number 9, Sharp Engineering Report. In your packet is a report from Engineer Sharp on the projects going on in the township. Engineer Sharp is here tonight. If you have any questions, please ask me and we'll have Engineer Sharp up to address them. Clerk Bright.
Yeah, what, just a request on the municipal projects. I was wondering if we could add the estimated cost of these projects and what the cost has been to date on those to give us an idea where we're at with potential cost overruns.
Sure.
You know, and even if it's just engineer's estimate.
Yep.
You know, case in point is a Brad Dewey, for example.
Yep.
Super.
I can add that to the report.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Moving on, item number 11, new business. Board members, in your packet is a letter of resignation from Township Trustee Jeffrey Amvet, informing the Township Board that he needs to tender his resignation from the Oxford Township Board effective today, April 9th, 2025. Per MCL 41.56, the resignation shall be accepted when be effective when the Township Board votes.
I move to accept the resignation of Oxford Township Trustee Jeffrey Obvet with regret, effective April 9th, 2025. Further, a legal notice will be published in the Oxford Leader, April 16th, 2025, April 23rd, 2025. Inform interested residents that a resume and letter of interest shall be submitted in person to the clerk's office by 4 p.m. Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Interviews and possible appointment will be scheduled for the May 14th, 2025 Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting to fill the vacancy.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions?
I have a quick comment.
Yes.
That is, if whoever is applying and they want a newbie's perspective, feel free to reach out to me. And I can give you some ideas what the scope of the.
Thank you
Yeah.
for offering, Dave. Trustee Wagner.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
trustee Colvin,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes, and supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11B, Levi's Link Park. CJ Carnacchio, what do you want to tell us tonight, CJ?
Good evening, board. Can you hear me?
No, not really.
It's not working.
I can project. I'm here tonight to talk about an exciting project, project that I've been working on since last fall, called Levi's Link Park. Now, this is going to be an opportunity to create a vibrant community space that promotes exercise, play, nature appreciation, local history, and a program that's dedicated to improving hospital experiences for patients with special needs. Now, this all came about because I started thinking after building the Helen Smith Pocket Park here on the Township grounds, I started looking for ideas of where we could put another pocket park. And immediately the Pollyant Trail sprang to mind. So I reached out to Linda Moran, and she suggested a site. And after visiting it, I thought it was perfect. It has a beautiful view of Koenig Lake. You can see bald eagles there frequently. It's very peaceful. That's why the Pollyant Trail chose to place a bench there. I went to work and came up with a concept plan, and I consulted with both Phil and Phil Castoni, our Parks and Rec director, and Linda on this, and they both liked it. The proposed pocket park is going to be located on a 0.16 acre piece along Lakeville Road on the north side of the Pollyant Trail, east of the Koenig Materials main entrance and west of Lakeville Elementary. Right now, the site contains a bench and a bicycle rack placed by the trail's management. So the pocket park is going to be approximately 100 to 150 feet long and approximately 30 feet wide. It's going to contain an observation deck with 2 binocular viewers where folks will be able to look out on the lake and the wildlife on the Koenig property, an outdoor gym and a push-up station, 8 pieces of play equipment, 7 for kids and 1 for adults, because why should kids have all the fun? And these pieces are going to complement the Koenig site. 4 sensory rings, 2 benches, a bicycle repair station with air pump, trash receptacle, a history sign that's going to explain the history of the Koenig pit and its significance in Oxford. It's been an active mining site since 1928, so we're going to have a sign explaining that, have some vintage photos on it, and a park sign. I did want to note that the idea to have the observation deck was Phil Castoni. When I first brought this plan to him, my original concept, he said, boy, this would be a perfect place to have an observation deck. Went online, find these binocular viewers, and it's the perfect element. I can't thank them enough, and I think it really ties things together. The park's going to have an engineered wood fiber surface, much the same that the Helen Smith Park has, and this type of surface complies with the ADA because it compacts down and makes it accessible for wheelchair users, strollers, things of that nature. The park's going to be designed to serve people who use the Pollyant Trail. It's going to benefit the existing users, and I think it's going to attract new users to the trail. Now, the estimated cost that I've worked on, approximately $100,000 to build this park, right? Actually, a little over $100,000. But all the purchase and installation of the park equipment and the construction of the park is all going to be funded through a combination of grants and donations, just like Helen's Park was. I've already secured $7,692 in donations. $4,542 I have in hand. I want to thank Tire Warehouse and Health Quest Physical Therapy in Oxford for those donations. And I have another $3,150 in commitments from Sherman's Tree Service, Oxford Bike Shop, and the Northeast Oakland Historical Society. I know one thing that came up I didn't address in your packet, some people wanted to know about the maintenance of the park. Well, we're going to pay Parks and Rec to maintain it like we do other services in the township when they have to clean up things on a safety pass or when they plow and salt our driveway or our parking lot. But we can also look at as another option to explore paying the Pollyant Trail Management Council for Linda Moran, the Pollyant Trail Manager's time to help maintain the park, or contracting with Linda directly as an independent contractor. Either way, Parks and Rec, it would handle the annual inspection of the equipment. Anything that has play equipment has to be inspected once a year. Helen's Park was inspected last year. Parks and Rec did it. It's very minimal. It's $60. And really, this is going to be minimal maintenance in the park. We're talking about changing the trash, raking the wood chips there, picking up litter, that kind of thing. I mean, right now, I do all that for Helen's Park. I don't have Helen. I just took out the trash there today. So these pocket parks are very minimal maintenance. We're not talking about intense uses here. And the most important part is the Levi's why it's called Levi's Link. We're gonna have an interpretive sign that tells why this park is named that. You may be wondering. Levi is the 12-year-old son of Rob and Megan Wilson. Rob is the president of Mid-Michigan Materials and Koenig Materials. Levi was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, sensory processing disorder, and apraxia of speech. He works hard every single day to overcome his challenges. When I originally interviewed Megan, when they have a yearly fundraiser out there called the Levi's Link Run. This is the 8th year coming up for it, but it's only been in Oxford here since 2023. And really, I could tell talking to Megan just how inspiring it is for her and her husband to see Levi, how hard he works to overcome his challenges and how he sees life differently. And his journey has made them see life differently. And I love, with my newspaper background, I love sharing those stories because we don't do enough to celebrate people with special needs, to celebrate the accomplishments they have and how hard they work to overcome challenges. And the Levi's Link program was established in 2018. It's a program designed to enhance the hospital experiences for patients with special needs who may become stressed during their visits to McLaren facilities in Port Huron and Lansing. The goal is to make patients and their families feel as comfortable as possible so they won't be deterred from seeking medical treatment. So as I said, since 2023, Koenig has hosted the charity run to benefit Levi's Link. And this pocket park is going to help increase this program's visibility and raise awareness among visitors and Pollyant Trail users. And it's my distinct pleasure, right now, I'd like to bring Rob, Megan, Levi, and of course Noah, Levi's brother, and service dog Ryan, if I remember correctly, up to the podium to have them say a few words. And to meet them, they can talk about the Levi's Link, the park, and Megan has some news about some expansion of Levi's Link.
I do. Thank you so much for having us here. I think to sum everything up, I want to say that we are so blessed and honored with the amazing partnership and friendship that we have found here in Oxford by moving the Levi's Link Run here. And most importantly, I'm here to announce that the program is growing by leaps and bounds this year. No longer is it just in McLaren Port Huron and McLaren Greater Lansing. It is now coming to McLaren Lapeer, the McLaren Oxford Emergency Room, McLaren Oakland, and the standalone emergency room that's being built in Grand Ledge. So the program is becoming very known. It's becoming very visible, and we are so overwhelmed with happiness that such an important part of it is here in Oxford and to have the community's support of it. Do you have anything to say, honey?
For my end, I can never speak about Levi's Link quite as eloquently as she can, so I'd just like to speak on behalf of Koenig Materials, and this is something that in the back of our heads as we've rejoined the community in a little bit of a meaningful way. I've always wanted to tip our hat to the history of the Koenig Sand and Gravel site and what it's meant to Metro Detroit and the Oxford community. And I always, driving home that way, looked at that lake and that bench, and then when CJ came up with this idea, it just it fits so amazingly. And so we as Koenig are so proud to be part of the community and the heritage here, and we're excited to have this, and our ownership could not be more thrilled to provide the land donation as a small token of our appreciation for the many years here in Oxford and the partnership. So thank you, CJ, for all your hard work, and we're happy to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CJ.
And now I'd like to turn things over to our attorney, Brittany Ellis, who's going to talk about the legalities involving the land donation and the zoning.
Sure. Good evening, board. So if this board accepts this donation tonight, there are some things that need to happen before the deed will be acceptable. Namely, your engineer is going to create a legal description of the 0.16 acre parcel. We're going to complete some title work looking at easements, just making sure that everything's in order, that this is an appropriate parcel for the proposed use as a park. We will have to get a land division from Oakland County. So you will see all of those conditions are in your motion tonight. So with that being said, If you do go forward with that approval tonight, once we complete those due diligence items and we have the go-ahead from the supervisor, he will be authorized to execute or to accept the deed from Canaan Materials. So those will be the next steps.
Board members, are there any questions?
I move to accept the donation of the 0.16 acre parcel, Koenig Materials LLC, subject to the following conditions. 1, the property shall be used as a public park, shall be designated as Levi's Link Park. 2, acceptance is contingent upon the approval of a resolution declaring the site an essential service, thereby waiving local zoning requirements pertaining to minimum lot size. 3, a detailed survey and legal description of the property must be prepared by the township engineer prior to acceptance. 4, the township engineer shall review all existing easements, provide an opinion regarding their impact on the construction and operation of the public park. If the property is not suitable for use as a public park, the donation may be rejected within the township's sole discretion. 5, the acceptance of the donation may, in the township's discretion, be contingent upon a satisfactory phase 1 and if necessary phase 2 environmental assessment. In the event significant contamination discovered, the township reserves the right to reject the donation. 6, the property must be delivered free and clear of any undisclosed liens or encumbrances except for known easements. 7, any further conditions deemed necessary by the board to safeguard the public interest and ensure the public use and maintenance of the park must be met prior to the final acceptance of the donation. 8, final acceptance is subject to the approval by both the township and county or land division and execution of a satisfactory warranty deed by Koenig Materials LLC. Be it further resolved that upon satisfaction of all conditions, the township supervisor is authorized to execute the necessary documentation to formally accept the donation and effectuate the transfer of title.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. This time I'll take any questions. Seeing none, hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes?
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
I move to approve a resolution declaring the 0.16 acre parcel 0423476001 along Lakeville Road, intended as a site for the new Levi's Link Park along the Pollyant Trail as an essential public structure and service. This designation shall waive the zoning requirements for 5 acre minimum lot size, the Suburban Farm zoning district, and other site plan approval requirements under the Oxford Township zoning ordinance.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions at this time? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 11C, Parks and Recreation Fireworks Permit Approval. Hi, Jeffrey. Going to come up if there's any questions, please? Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Pennis, Park Superintendent for Oxford Township Parks and Rec. We're here tonight to get the approval for our fireworks show, Seymour Celebration, June 5th and June 6th.
I move to approve the 2025 American Fireworks Company contract for fireworks display scheduled for the annual Seymour celebration, scheduled for Friday, June 6, 2025, and Saturday, June 7, 2025. Further, the Oxford Township Parks and Recreation Department will continue to work closely with the Oxford Fire Department, Will County Sheriff's Office, ensure all safety and health regulations are followed as pertains to the above fireworks event.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes?
Clerk Wright, yes, Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 11, Jeffrey, thank you. Item 11D, Planning and Zoning, Tonight, board members, Mateo Pasalacqua from the Carlisle Working Firm is here. We have 3 items on the agenda to discuss at this time. I'm going to first address item 11DI.
Thank you. I missed my cue.
That's your cue.
Sorry.
No, that's it.
Good evening, board members, Mateo Paslacqua, Carlisle Workman Associates, with the planning consultants for the township. So, as Supervisor Curtis had indicated, we have 3 things for the board's consideration this evening. The first one being that of some zoning ordinance text amendments. So, the 3 text amendments relate to animal definitions, state license, daycare facilities, and permitted and special land uses in the I-1 and I-2 districts. We are recommending this evening that the animal definitions actually be tabled as it relates to some very recent case law that came down this week. We no longer feel confident in those definitions relating to the outcome of that case law. So we are asking for those to be tabled this evening. The language was inspired by the Michigan State University Extension that did offer some guidance on animal definitions, but that very well could change in the coming months based on the case law. So right now, we are recommending tabling that text amendment consideration. I can take any questions on that, or I can move to the other 2 and discuss all 3 at the end.
So when you say table it, that'll be brought back on May 14th?
I'd recommend just tabling it without a specific.
Postponing it.
Postponing then.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Clerk Wright.
Yeah. Move to set a first reading for zoning ordinance 67A.037 for the May 14, 2025 Oxford Township Board of Trustees regular meeting 4. Proposed text amendments to Article 2 regarding state licensed daycare facilities, and for proposed text amendments to Article 3 regarding auto convenience marts being special land uses, and to table a first reading of the proposed text amendments to Article 2 of zoning ordinance 67A regarding animal definitions to a future Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting.
Because you want to postpone, correct,
No.
not table?
Nope.
Table to it, because it's an indefinite time, postponing this to a certain date.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Clerk Wright. I have a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Roll call?
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Now, 11D2, rezoning request for 970 and 990 South Lapeer Road. I see the applicant's engineering firm is here tonight. So if you have any questions, Mateo, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so at their March 13th meeting, the Planning Commission held a public hearing to consider a rezoning request for 970 and 990 South Lapeer Roads. They are adjacent parcels located on the northwest corner of Drainer and Lapeer. The application was to go from an office zoning to C2. The application did state that the general intent of the rezoning was to build a single-story retail center with a drive-through. However, no site plan has been submitted for the project, so this is really just a consideration for all the possible uses in C2. Again, the Planning Commission, we went through the review, questions were asked, but at the end of the day, the Planning Commission did recommend to the Township Board to accept the rezoning request from office to C2 for those 2 parcels.
Okay, I move to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission and approve the rezoning request for 970 and 990 South Lapeer Road, parcel numbers 04-26-353-028 and 04-26-353-029 from Office District to C2 Community Business District based on the findings of facts outlined in section 18.6 of the zoning ordinance as set forth in the record of the Planning Commission meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Supervisor Curtis and a second by Clerk Wright. I'll take your questions. Trustee Colvin?
I just want to make sure I'm clear that if there is a drive-through at this location, it's a special land use and it will have to go through other requirements rather than just Planning Commission and come back to us, go through special land use, have different restrictions or different requirements that they have to meet in order to get there.
So the drive-through for C2 is actually a permitted use, however, it does have additional regulations that relate to screening, landscaping, that they will have to meet in order to get approval.
What about traffic?
Traffic's always gonna talk about traffic. The thing with M24 is that that's what draws, I'm sorry.
So it's just a terrible intersection.
Well, to that point, the applicant at the planning commission meeting did come prepared to discuss it, did talk about traffic with the commission, and they're diligent about that fact.
Trustee Charles.
The same concern that trustee Colvin has about the traffic problems. That's a notorious corner.
Yeah.
You know, I go by there repeatedly, and it's always a problem. So you said diligent. Can you give us a little bit more insight what diligent means? Because it's a horrible, horrible corner, and adding more traffic isn't a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, now I can pass on the applicant, I mean, from our perspective and what we see, usually this early in the stage, the applicants are not talking to RCOC or MDOT. They have, and their design, at least as it related to the retail center, again, no site plan, just a concept, was accommodating for the challenges of access to that site as best as they could. With that, I'd let Jim take the mic.
Good evening, Jim Butler with PEA Group. Address is 1849 Pond Run, Auburn Hills, Michigan 48326. As a part of our analysis of the site, and we know the site is a challenge from a traffic standpoint, we went and had a traffic report done based on a retail center. What we did with the site plan is we restricted the movement onto Lapeer Road to be only a right in and a right out. So if you're going northbound, you will not be able to turn in left, and you will not be able to go out to the left. Also, on Drainer, there will be what the study recommends is an improvement to the intersection. Meaning we're gonna have to pull back that left turn lane and expand the capacity there. So we've had initial discussion with RCOC and MDOT. They're the ones that gave us the scope of the study. We've studied that. We've not formally submitted to them, but when we come forward with our site plan, we will do that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
No.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Master plan, yes, Clerk Wright.
No, now we set the first and second readings for the map amendment for the May meetings. It's in the packet now.
Do we have to set those, or do we just?
Yeah, the recommendation was to approve the rezoning and then set the first and second readings for the map amendment.
You could approve first reading tonight if this board wanted to.
Come on up to the mic and tell us again, please, from a legal standpoint.
From a legal standpoint, you can have your first reading tonight and approve first reading since you've accepted the recommendation of the Planning Commission. This board is a general matter. You usually pass a motion to set first reading. That's something we've discussed internally that procedurally may not make sense going forward. So if you want to do your first reading tonight, you may do so.
What Brittany is saying is regularly we set a first reading at this meeting and wait a month. We're wasting a month of everybody's time. No, I mean, we're reading it, we're recommending it. Why do we have to do that again? We're gonna do it again after tonight. So tonight can count as our first reading.
Well, you need to pass a motion still. Remember, you need to pass a motion for your first reading for your map amendment.
Okay. Treasurer Ferrari. you have something.
I'll make do we adopt the first
So,
reading?
yeah, so move to approve the first reading for the proposed zoning map amendment, and then you would say, and further move to set second reading for, what's your date next month?
May 14th.
For May 14th, and authorize the township clerk to notice in accordance with state law.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a mouthful.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the proposed zoning ordinance amendment for 97990 South Lapeer Road, also known as parcel 0426353028 and 0426353029. And set the second reading for Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. What was that last part, Brittany?
And authorize the township clerk to notice in accordance with state law.
And authorize the township clerk to notice in accordance with the state law.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, very good, and a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Now we can move on to master plan. Item 11D3, proposed 2025 Oxford Township Master Plan.
Yeah, so here we are, over a year's worth of work in the making, and at the March 27th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended to send the draft master plan to the board for review and consideration. When this project initiated, the board elected to be the approving authority for the document, which you have a right to do by state law. So where we are this evening is you've been provided with that draft that was recommended by the Planning Commission. And the kind of the two courses that can be taken this evening is that either you vote to send the master plan on to your neighboring communities, the county, and any other kind of vested interested parties, utilities, transportation authorities, things of that nature, for a 63-day review period, in which it would come back to you with any comments from those parties. You can consider them, and then from there, the Planning Commission holds a public hearing, and it comes back to you for approval. Or you can vote to send the draft back to the Planning Commission with any kind of comments, questions, concerns, to which the Planning Commission would then consider, review, potentially direct us to make further edits, and then come back to you again for the same vote. So those are the options in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have as it relates to that.
I have one. We all had got a jump drive and access to the link. We have all reviewed and looked at the document for spelling and or verbiage changes, minor as they may be. Our board can either vote tonight to have Mateo take all of our spelling corrections and minor verbiage changes, make those corrections, send them to the Planning Commission meeting, and then back to us on May 14th for the decision to send out to the other communities.
Correct. So if that is the position, or that's the direction that the board's going to go in, what we would request is that any comments, concerns, proposed revisions are to us by Friday of this week. That'll enable us to then get it on the Planning Commission's next agenda, to which then the Planning Commission can review those edits and then take their action from there. If the Planning Commission, give, take, however it may be, is comfortable with what changes have been made, the master plan draft could be back to you by your May meeting.
Yeah, we're not looking at dissecting this large document down to number of stones allowed in the gravel pit. We're talking about spelling errors, we're talking about words, we're talking about some pictures that are in there that are should be replaced with current pictures. So it's nothing major in this document. I think we've all had a good chance to look at it. I provided my jump drive to Mateo today. Clerk Wright, you gave him yours.
I didn't know what he wanted. I asked him tonight whether he wanted hard copy, email. So
Okay.
I figured I'd wait till the whole board had a chance to.
I'll see you in 12 hours. So I'll get it from you then.
I'll make a motion to send the draft master plan back to the Planning Commission with comments and revisions proposed by the Township Board.
I'll second that.
I have a motion
second
by
that.
Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. I'll take any questions.
I have one question.
Yes,
So,
Trustee Wagner.
Mateo, once you get back these edits and updates, are you gonna verify that these are actually correct edits and updates to actually make? So if someone says, oh, we need a different picture, and maybe they told you it's the wrong picture, are you gonna verify that it's actually correct?
I guess correct might be a little subjective with what you're stating. I mean, I think what we'll look to do is provide back to the Planning Commission the draft.
I can give you an example. There's a picture of a business in the village that's no longer in business.
Sure.
I want that replaced with a business that's from the township that's still in business.
And that's.
That's a simple change.
Makes sense.
I can tell you one change is it's not Seymour Lake, it's Seymour Lake. These are little things that we caught to try to get a better perfect document out to the public. So there's nothing major in there about changing land use or anything like that. It's spelling and minor changes.
Okay. My concern is that we just don't introduce additional errors, that's all.
Correct.
Yeah, that's, nobody wants that.
Teo's willing to put his job on the line.
Again, the perfect is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Don't put that in the minutes.
Yeah.
Not my job.
Okay.
Verbatim.
Are there any questions? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Colvin,
Yes.
treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes, and supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Thank you very much.
And just a thank you to all of you. Like, it's been a long time in the making. We really appreciate it. My boss once told me that doing these projects is like giving birth, and she's right. So, thank you very much for your time. I'll be seeing you guys soon.
Thank you.
Kind of like a kidney stone, huh?
Yeah, maybe that's not a bad one either.
I can attest to that.
Don't say that.
Item 11E,
That's not even.
a request to submit zoning ordinance text amendment to the planning commission. Board members, in your package is a request to submit zoning ordinance text amendment regarding the township's performance guarantee in section 16.8 of the zoning ordinance. And what's happened is in the past, the township has been operating thinking that we're gonna collect a performance guarantee to complete a project. When we look at the completion of a project, that's not what the performance guarantee is for. The performance guarantee is to ensure that the adequate security for the safety path, soil erosion, and traffic improvements and the other public benefits are made. We're not going to go on private property and finish a building, but we've been collecting a rather large sum of money for some of these projects. And what I was suggesting is that this go back to the planning commission so that they could work on that.
I move to refer the attached red line revisions of section 60.8 performance guarantees of the township zoning ordinance to the planning commission for review and recommendation to the board of trustees.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari. I have a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes, trustee Colvin,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Charles,
Yes.
supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Thank you. Item 11F, Seymour Lake Road Safety Path Engineering Design Fees. Board members, the design fees for the segment along Seymour Lake Road between Dunlap and Saunders was never specifically established. At the one time, we established funds to do engineering from Brookfield out to Seymour Lake Park, but in conjunction with the installment of the 18-inch water main on Seymour Lake and Saunders Road, we would like to have the safety path engineered, and Engineer Sharp has provided us an amount of $21,000 to accomplish that. Yeah. Yeah, Yep. I move to approve an amount not to exceed $21,000 and authorize Sharp Engineering to facilitate the completion of the engineering design and design documents pertaining to the Seymour Lake Road safety path between Dunlap and Sanders Roads. This $21,000 amount to be expensed from the safety path account 297-852-821-000.
Second.
I have a motion by Supervisor Curtis. I have a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Charles,
Yes.
trustee Colvin,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes, Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11G, the OACC interlocal agreement renewal. Trustee Colvin?
Okay, board members, the interlocal agreement with the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission has expired. It expired on March 31st, so we are looking to renew it. Manager Stiles is here to answer any questions, but I can tell you it's essentially the same as it was previously. We added one small addition, making a requirement that if one community does not submit their PEG fees, then they will remove themselves from the commission.
Until the fees are paid.
Until the fees are paid.
Until the fees are paid.
After a certain amount of time.
You know, and it was brought to light today, I had a very studious employee bring to light today that PEG fees are not negotiable.
PEG fees are not negotiable.
They are
They
to
go
be
for
spent
capital expenses only.
for public education.
Correct.
And somehow or another, some townships and villages have been capturing some of those. So that's why this paragraph is now in there.
That's one of the reasons. There was a motion made several years ago, and it was a grammatical error in one township. And they made a motion to split the cable fees in half. And that's not been corrected.
My question is, who's taking this on to explain that to the other municipalities?
Well, so currently, because we lost so much money last year, people are going to streaming rather than AT&T chartering Spectrum. And so I'm asking the communities that give us half or a certain percentage of the franchise fees to give us all for the next couple of years, because there's language being written and hopefully going through the legislature. In fact, I'm going next Thursday to speak to our representatives to franchise those video streaming services like Hulu, Disney, Fire Stick, AT&T, or Dish.
Oh, cool.
And then that will keep us going, and those people can look. I will certainly address how those fees should be split, and they can look at in 2 years keeping 50% again. If they choose not to, or if that legislature doesn't pass, we're going to lose funding. We lost $40,000 last year out of our last year budget, and every year we're losing about 23% of funding because people are going over to streaming who are using our easement, those telecommunications lines that AT&T, Charter, and Comcast are paying for. So if the legislature decides, and I'm trying to make this short, if they decide that they will not franchise fees all these streamers, then that gives AT&T, Charter, and Comcast a great argument not to have to pay franchise fees.
Okay.
So give me a minute. By next week, I will have talked to the other communities. I spoke to the village last night. They give us 75%. I asked them for the full percent. They're looking at their budget next week.
Treasurer Ferrari.
That's always been something that's always been a sticking point with me from day one.
12 years.
We're like the mothership. We give 100%.
I know.
Everybody else gives 75, 50, whatever they feel like giving. And to me, either you're all in, you're not kind of pregnant. Either you're all in it or you're not in it. You know, and that's always been, but some communities have done it with Pollyant Trail. They're in, they're out, they're out, they're in, they're out.
I know.
And to me, as part of cable, we should all be in it. If not, then we're not. I mean, if they're contributing 50, why are we contributing 100?
Well, sometimes the argument is that we don't go to their community enough. However, the downtown area, which we cover a lot, and the schools, which we cover, we've done over 380 programming this year that affects those outlying communities as well. So I'm with you on that argument. I understand.
Maybe we could get Treasurer Ferrari to help you.
I can use all the help I can get.
One more won't hurt.
I've been arguing for 12 years at this point, so yeah, I can
Thank you.
take all the help I can get.
Thank you. Trustee Colvin?
want me to make a motion? I move to approve the interlocal agreement for the formation and operation of the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission and approve the supporting resolution and authorize Supervisor Jack Curtis to execute the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
I'll support that.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Colvin, a second by trustee Charles. I have a question to clerk Wright.
I do have a couple items here. In that new section D there, it talks about retaining and withholding PEG fees. Are PEG fees part of the franchise fees?
No, pay fees
PEG fees are separate, okay, that's how it is in the,
Public education and government.
yeah, that's how it's broken out here, so.
Yes.
So based upon the PEG fees in 2024, we're talking about $16,000. About that much, okay. So with this, it looks like if they decide to suspend their participation over 6 months, they may withdraw right out of OACCC. Is that a possibility?
It could be, yes.
I mean, then you start seeing your funds dwindle even more because then it goes right back to the municipalities.
The franchise fees do, the PEG fees don't. They are there for cable public access.
education.
Yeah, as you indicated. Then,
So yes, the franchise fees go back. And let me add to this soapbox, should AT&T, Comcast, and Charter get approval from the legislature that they don't have to pay franchise fees because the rest of those streamers don't have to pay them, there's communities that are going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Detroit alone will lose $1 million a year. And some communities that don't have television stations pay EMS, fire stations, police, they fix their sidewalks. So MTA is really behind promoting us speaking to the legislature in Michigan. Several states are doing the same thing. However, the East Coast is really fighting it. So it's a new concept. It's going to take a couple years to see what happens.
now just another question on page 4 of the agreement, in section 13, small item, what is it? Small item 2 and 3, it talks about dissolution, and I'm just wondering if that were to happen. It says all accounting shall be provided. This is over the life of the OACC. I'm just wondering, is that something that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
In the dissolution section of the OACC, it talks about assets being distributed in the proportion they're paid over the life of the OACC. So I'm thinking, those records probably don't even exist, but that's something that may have to be considered
They would exist.
for accounting.
They should exist within each township.
Okay. All right.
And then
The last one, I
each
know we had
attorney would have to get together.
chairman, Supervisor. Signing.
Oh, yeah, that was just a typo. That was just a typo. That and I talked to Dave Kenny today, and he said that it was corrected out in
Yes,
the
I did.
signing
I
that
fixed
supervisors for the village should be presidents.
It's fixed.
So that will be corrected out.
I have the original tonight. It's already been signed by Joe Medor. If you want to sign it tonight, or you want me to come back tomorrow. But don't sign
Find
that.
out in a minute as we get all the rest of the
Right,
questions.
but I'm just saying, don't sign that page if you're going to sign anything.
Are there any other questions? Trustee Charles?
You also do, you also do Addison Township film at this time of year,
We also do Addison Township, what?
like what you're doing tonight,
Oh, yeah. We cover all meetings,
all 4 of the communities.
for communities, yep.
All right.
Thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee, we have trustees here. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you.
You lost one, you're out.
I appreciate your support.
Thank
We
you.
all do.
Thank you.
Item, which is now item 11H, 2025 Road Commission for Oakland County Dust Control Program. Board members, in your packet is the information from the Road Commission for Oakland County regarding the 2025 Florida program. The 2025 per foot application cost is the same as 2024 cost, 8 cents The price is based on all public gravel roads in Oxford Township being treated, and I'm seeking the approval for all 5 applications of chloride for 2025.
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford contract with the Road Commission of Oakland County to provide chloride services for 2025 on all public gravel roads in the Charter Township of Oxford. Chloride costs will be paid 100% by the Charter Township of Oxford for 5 applications, at the rate of 8 cents per foot per application. The cost for the chloride service to be expensed to account number 204-440-969.000 Highway Roads Maintenance Contracts.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11I, David, let's test those MTA skills out. Water and Sewer Committee meeting 11I, 1I. Recommendation for waiving sewer tap fees for Brad Dewey subdivision.
Okay, so you'll see, first of all, you'll see on page 342 of your packet, you'll see a little bit of background information of the Brad Dewey subdivision. For what it's worth, it's a very old subdivision, been there. They all rely on septic systems right next to Stony Lake on the northwest side of the lake. And there's certainly some potential concern with the state of repair, the age, etc. And being Stony Lake is a premier park for Oxford, used by families, children, etc. So what we have here is a package to upgrade or install a sewer system, and which then will allow the residences to move off the septic systems and be connected directly to the sewer systems. So first one is the motion that the Oxford Township Board of Trustees agrees to waive the $6,000 per residential equivalent unit or REU tap fees for the estimated 78 property owners associated with the Brad Dewey sanitary sewer extension project.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Trustee Wagner and a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Colvin.
I just want to make a comment. This is different than waiving for a developer that's coming in here. These people are in existing homes, they already have sanitary systems in their home, and it's not a very wealthy neighborhood. So waiving these fees, we are going to force these people to connect to the sewer. It's not an option for them. Our ordinance requires people to hook up if we set this up. So waiving these fees is not the same as waiving for a developer who's going to build something and make a profit on that. This is different. We as the government are going to force these folks to hook up. That's one of the reasons that we suggest waiving these fees.
Any other questions? Clerk Wright.
I could counter a lot of points to that, but I will not do that. I'll just go ahead and cast my vote accordingly, because I could probably spend a half an hour on this subject. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I got a couple of them if he's.
Do you have a question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, you said that it's not a wealthy subdivision. Do we have any verification of that? Did you do an income survey?
I drove through.
Okay, did you do an income survey?
I know people that live there that do not have a lot of money.
Did you do an income survey?
I know people. I didn't do an income survey.
Okay.
Or like I say, I've also walked through that, talked to folks.
Trustee Wagner, you have something to say?
There you go, I'm not finished, you're right. The other thing is, I want to protect the environment, we all do, because we know there's possibility. And that's not the only one in the township, by the way, there's other brownfields. My concern is the lack of verification of things that you're bringing up, as opposed to just walking through or observing homes or wherever else. Even on the contamination, one of my concerns would be if future developers come in here and say, you gave these folks $6,000, why not me? Then we can come back and say, well, we drove through a subdivision and we think that people don't have money there. And we think there's contamination. So I'm okay with doing this, but it's like the phrase from Missouri, show me. I don't see any verification. This is just guessing. guessing, that's all it is. And there's no, to repeat, there's no verification on any of this. So,
Okay.
anyhow, that's my point on it. And the big worry is precedent for future developers. They come back and look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, you didn't ask these people to prove anything. And if you look at the next item on our agenda, we have a poverty exemption, and we ask people to show their income level to get an exemption. Why wouldn't we do that for this?
Any other questions?
I just have a comment. Sometimes it doesn't require verification when you walk through a blighted neighborhood. You don't need proof that the neighborhood itself is low income and blighted. I mean, that is the obvious case when I walked through it last summertime talking to folks. The other thing is that it's important to remember, this is for the good of the community. This will help will proactively help or prevent any issues with Stony Lake, which is used by the community.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
No.
Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Charles.
No.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. What we have, board members, is a draw. With a non-majority vote, this motion fails.
We'll wait for a new trustee.
Wait for a new trustee if it want to be brought back.
Can I have a question about that?
Item 11.2. Recommendation of a loan request from Building Permit Fund to the Sewer Fund for the Brad Dewey project. Trustee Wagner.
Yes, so the total cost of the program is $2.4 million with a $1.75 million grant, leaving us to come up with $650,000. The motion here, in order to get this project started, the motion is that the Oxford Township Board of Trustees authorizes a loan from the Building Permit Fund to the Sewer Fund for an amount not to exceed $650,000 to help finance the Brad Dewey Sanitary Sewer Extension Project. This loan will be subject to an annual interest rate of 1% and is to be repaid over a period not to exceed 5 years.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Wagner, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Excuse me. Just a point of clarification. I think it's stuck in everybody's head that this is the building permit fund. It's the building department fund.
Building
Permit,
department.
when we had to redo the chart of accounts, it's the building department fund.
Okay, then
Thank you.
I'll make that correction.
Roll call.
Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Charles.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11, 3I. David, Trustee Wagner, you asked that to be amended?
Yes.
Repayment?
So now this addresses how we're going to fund those payments and pay for those loan costs. So motion here is that the Oxford Board of Trustees agrees that the repayment of the Brad Dewey Sanitary Sewer Extension Project loan will be sourced from the sewer fund, utilizing revenues received by the township for marijuana-related businesses, and the use of these revenues would commence on the fiscal year 2026 and shall continue until the loan is fully repaid.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Trustee Wagner, a second by Trustee Colvin. My question here before I call the roll is, we have a 5-year loan. What if the 5-year loan is not paid out by the marijuana fund? Are you going to take that from
Sewer fund.
sewer funds, right?
That's correct. That's how it was stated in the motion.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question too.
Yes, sir, Trustee Charles.
So does this obligate all the marijuana money to go there? There's no
Yes.
flexibility?
Enough to make the payments.
Enough to
That's
pay,
not the question.
enough to make the payment.
Once the loan's paid.
Yep. Roll call.
Trustee Charles.
No.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, no. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay. Are you done beating me up, David?
Yes, sir.
Item 11J, 2025 Poverty Hardship Exemption Allocation Applications. Treasurer Ferrari.
Board members, myself, Trustee Charles, and Trustee Wagner met with the assessing department, and we have the changes for our hardship form for 2025. A couple of notes there that we had changed. If you take a look at it, the poverty guide's going to be 1.25, increase from 1 for the poverty, and there's different forms they're going to have them provided to us as well. The other communities ask for. So that's the main changes that were done. With that, I will make a motion to approve the Oxford Township 2025 Poverty Hardship Exemption Application as presented.
Second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11K, resolution adopting policy relative to the review and granting of poverty exemptions by the Oxford Township Board of Review. Treasurer Ferrari.
This is following up to the last one we just had. This allows it to go in front of the board review with the guidelines that we've just adopted. I move to approve the resolution adopting policy relative to the review and granting of poverty exemptions by the Oxford Township Board of Review as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 11L, 2025 West Nile Virus Program.
Board members, we still have cases left over. Last year, they passed on to our residents for those briquettes. So this year, Parks and Rec is looking at replenishing what they had. So we're looking at allocating all the money to them to put those briquettes in our parks. I'd like to make a motion to purchase 4 cases of the Natural XLT tablets for $3,912.38, include shipping. Total project expenditure is $3,912.38, and is to be expensed from the Oakland County West Nile Virus Prevention Grant, account number 101-000-072.006.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Colvin. I have a question. What is the total cost to us, Treasurer Ferrari?
$3912.38,
$3,912.38.
and the grant's covering that.
So the total cost to the township is 0.
Correct.
Thank you. Trustee Charles.
So you're saying this will all go to the Parks and Recreation Department? What about residents who want to use it as they've done for the last?
We have those already. We had some in stock the last couple of years.
So we have plenty
Oh, yeah.
of people, because I know people
Oh, yeah.
in my neighborhood, since I live by the Spring Lakes, are always looking for it.
And we have them.
Okay.
Roll call.
Okay. Let's go Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the West Nile Virus Fund expense reimbursement request as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 12, items removed from consent agenda. We had none. Item 13, public comment.
Hello again. I just wanted to say, if you guys don't decide to move forward with pursuing Oxford as a Purple Heart city, township, that I would be happy to donate my services to work with Mr. Cabelli. I don't know if any of you know him. He is a Purple Heart recipient himself. He proudly served his country. I did stories on him when I was with the Oxford leader. And I'd be more than happy to help whatever you need with that project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public have a comment? Seeing none, Board of Trustees comments. Trustee Charles.
Yeah, just want, going back to Bradley a little bit, if the committee meets, I would suggest maybe some guidelines such as we discussed with the poverty, so we have some numbers to work with to see who might qualify for this.
Thank you. Anything else? Trustee Wagner.
No comments.
Trustee Colvin.
Stay warm.
Treasurer Ferrari.
No comment.
Clerk Wright.
Yeah, a couple things I want to address are committee reports. In our packet, we had 9 reports that weren't provided, and this was maybe a good example because of MTA, but this board approved in May of last year a numerous amount of resolutions and policies setting the rules and regulations and parameters for committee reports. And to me, it's like, if we're not going to follow this stuff that we're doing, then we might as well either follow them or put this on the agenda in May to revamp how committees are formed and what their rules and regulations and rules are. So that's one of my comments, that if we're going to do this, as we approved as a board, let's do it. If not, let's change our ways of doing things as a committee.
Okay.
No sense in wasting people's time.
Is that it?
No, the other one is, I would like to request of the treasurer to include in the consent agenda packet the Michigan class report of the consent agenda, because by the time we get treasurer's reports in our packet, they're 2 to 3 months old. Our Michigan class report will be probably from the previous month ending, such as this is the April meeting, we could see the cash flows from the March 31st month ending. So if that's not too difficult, and the board has no problem with it, I think it would be a good idea.
Got some shelves.
Other than that, just like to comment to CJ Carnacchio on his efforts on this Levi's Link Park. I think it's going to be a great addition to the community. And I mean, you guys just endless work are trying to do good things for the community, and it goes for a lot of other people as well. Or not named, but good job, CJ.
Well, it's my turn. I was gonna ask, Darren, I apologize, I didn't get back to you fast enough. I looked it up on Google, and Purple Heart Civic designation honors and recognizes the sacrifice of military personnel wounded or killed in combat, often involving initiative to commemorate Purple Heart recipients. So CJ, you stood up and raised your hand. I appreciate that. I was gonna ask you to do that for us, see what the cost is, see what we have to do, work with Darren, the American Legion VFW, to bring our city towards a Purple Heart city. We need to know the numbers, Darren. We need to know who, all of that information. CJ's volunteered to grasp that up for us, okay?
Sure.
Thank you. Secondly, there is no excuse for no committee reports. If you haven't turned in a committee report, how about if we stop paying for people who attend those committees like we agreed on, rather than stop the reports? Those committee reports are done to audit payroll. Okay? If you don't turn in a committee report, your committee didn't meet and your people didn't get paid. So if you're lack in turning your, and myself included, if I didn't turn one in, my people don't get paid on that committee. So from now on, we will, as we voted, to turn in our committee reports as an audit report to the payroll department, as a knowledge base for us to know what these committees are doing. You don't get paid, and you'll be publicly shamed. How's that? Done scapping the corner. That's all I have to say. Item number
I'll make a motion with
15.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Coleman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody that wants to stay, say nay. Thank you.